Well, we have a somewhat rare moderate risk for the mid-Atlantic and the East Coast. Severe weather is going to follow along a cool front across the rest of the central U.S. here over the next few days. So this upper level low that created some severe weather in parts of the plains and some rainfall, large area of decent rainfall from South Dakota through Nebraska and Iowa, continues to track east today. This is going to be quite the feature combined with a surface cold front. Lots of moisture out ahead of it. It's going to create some severe weather in the east today. But these are storm reports over the weekend. You can see it was responsible for quite a few wind reports, even some tornado reports and funnel clouds in Iowa, Missouri, Nebraska. We also had some severe weather, though, in the southeast, separate from that. So cooler air diving in behind that system, and with it is going to cause severe weather to be the threat along that periphery here right through the next few days. And that will push most of the moisture and all that energy south as well as we head into the next couple of days. So the real soupy stuff pushed into the deep south and will slowly migrate north again through the week, creating that potential severe threat. But today is the pretty interesting threat, the biggest threat of the next few days in the East Coast, because we've got lots of humid air. This is showing temperatures aloft, just a few thousand feet above the ground, gives us a good idea of where that cooler air is to the north and west. Moderate risk. This is not common in the eastern U.S. And this summer, really anywhere in the U.S. We haven't had as much active weather as we normally would, but you'd expect this more in the plains in July or August. But we are going to see potentially Virginia into West Virginia, all the way up into Pennsylvania. Pretty high wind threat today. In particular, we've got the hatched 10% chance of significant wind threat, 45% chance of high wind gusts, severe wind gust criteria, and even a 10% tornado risk in that area today. So all sorts of severe weather threats. We've got the jet stream pointing right at that area, right along the edge of that cooler and hotter air to the southeast. And that's going to help to create shear that we're going to have just enough to organize any of those storms that do develop, especially initially. That upper level low is essentially a pool of cool air aloft. And so as it moves over this hot, steamy air mass, it literally is like releasing the top or the lid off of a pan. So we are going to see some strong storms later today. Significant tornado parameter, not something we often look for in Pennsylvania or Virginia, but those parameters are going to be pretty high today. So there is a tornado threat. East Coast, again, not an area that typically sees as many tornadoes as the plains, but they do happen. But the other thing we're going to be really watching for, and the reason we have that hatched area from the Storm Prediction Center, is a large area of potential severe wind gusts from basically the Carolinas up through Virginia into Pennsylvania, even upstate New York. So strong storms erupt late in the afternoon with that daytime heating, and ahead of that cool front, all sweeping east into the Atlantic Ocean as we head into the overnight tonight. So we're going to be watching for a wide swath potentially of damage in the central eastern U.S. Then as we head into tomorrow, the threat is going to be mostly along the backside of the cool front as it washes out. We've got a slight risk. We're going to see some clusters of storms probably in the morning going, maybe into Oklahoma, Arkansas, and then Wednesday that threat will be a little farther north as the frontal boundary kind of starts to retreat and that warmer, more humid air starts to build back northward. So Wednesday, the threat is going to be more over Missouri into southern Illinois. We've got a slight risk at this point. And then as we head into Thursday and Friday, we might be talking about severe weather in the northern plains again as heat and humidity moves north. But Wednesday, clusters of storms again, Kansas into Missouri, probably southern Illinois as we head into the afternoon Wednesday, pretty energized storms. And those are going to be some primarily wind and hail threats, but tornadoes are going to be possible as well. So a little bit of active weather here over the next few days, but in particular that moderate risk east on Monday.